How are you?
Yeah, I'm fine.
I'm fine too. So welcome back to class. Today we're going to study about supplier qualification. And before we study supplier pre-qualification, always to give you the attendance sheet that you need to sign. Who is not present today? As he is not present, please do not sign for her. And then I also have this consent form that I'll require each and every one of you to sign. While you are signing that, first, can we recap what we studied in our last lesson? What did we study in our last lesson? By the name of hand, by the show of hand, what did we study in our last lesson? Yes, we studied about? Okay, what did we learn about procurement? Just tell me one or two that we learned about procurement.
Documents used in procurement.
We talked about documents used in procurement, such as an invoice. Yes, another thing. Please raise your hands when you are telling me. Yes, another thing that we studied about in our last class. Delivery notes. Okay, Dominic, you are very resourceful. Thank you very much. So today we're going to talk about, we're coming back to our lesson today. We're going to talk about pre-qualification of suppliers. And what do you think is pre-qualification of suppliers? Or what do you think pre-qualification is? Pre-qualification meaning, yes? Yes, qualities that a supplier must have so that he or she can supply goods. Yes, very good. Another thing, another person who thinks what is pre-qualification? Another person, yes?
First, the process of selling through suppliers to see which one is more compatible with the business objectives.
Okay, it is a process of sifting through the suppliers to see who is more compatible with the basic, with the need. Yes, very good. Another one. Another explanation. The third one. Yes, no.
Requirements that a supplier should have.
It's the requirements that a supplier should have. Very good. Whatever you've told me all is very true. But when we are saying the qualifications of suppliers, we are talking about a set. So these are set up rules or guidelines that suppliers must have. So beforehand, suppliers must have for us to deem them able to supply for us. And most of the time, pre-qualification is done before we even need the suppliers. So like right now, we are going to assume that we are having a business. What business are we doing here? Just an example of any business or any company we may be having. Hey, do we need to jump up and down kidogo? Biashara yote yenye unajua? Yes, we are selling clothes. Sawa? So we have a supplier like mwenye anatuletea nguo. If we have only one supplier, what happens? Na siku hawezi kuleta, what happens? We stock out. So we decide to have several suppliers. Tumeona yule supplier mmoja analeta, yule mwingine, sawa? So and then to qualify kabisa. We have this one is reliable, this one is not reliable. So that when we need them, we already have a list. Sawa? And why do people think, why do we do the qualification of suppliers? And this one we're going to use the hot potato. Objectives of supplier qualification. Now we're going to use the potato. This one. So when I give you this, I'm going to throw it randomly. Remember, all the answers you have are right. So, all the answers you have, they are right. You see, okay? So when I give you, I want you to tell me as fast as you can what you think supplier, what do you think is the objective of having supplier verification? Let's start.
To have compatible and reliable suppliers in long term.
To have compatible and reliable suppliers in long term. Yes?
To foster long-term relationships.
To foster long-term relationships. Okay? Another one? Yes. Why do we do supplier verification?
Identify suppliers that meet the implementation
Needs. Yes. Thank you. Okay? And Dominic, why do we have supplier verifications? Or why do we perform supplier verifications?
To reduce the risks of suppliers calling the clients.
You reduce the risk of suppliers calling their clients. Yes, that is also very right. Sawa? Okay. So we have several reasons as to why we do supplier qualifications or why we perform supplier qualifications. The first one is to reduce the risk of supplier-related cases. So risks such as the supplier goes out of business. Sawa? Then we also have to foster long-term relationships with reliable suppliers. What do you think will happen if we have a supplier mwenye yeye anajua mimi na supply kwa hii biashara yangu kila siku? What do you think will happen? There's a high chance we get discounts, sindio? In the long run, that is saving us costs. And what another thing it can happen when you have a long-term relationship with suppliers.
Having consistency and you are accountable in the business, meaning you never stop and we suffer from not doing goods. There will always be a list to them.
Yes. So that is one of the objective. The second objective is to establish consistent and transparent process of supply. So if we have pre-qualified suppliers, then it means that we'll be having very consistent supplies in our institution. And the other objective is to identify suppliers that meet the organizational quality standards, and beliefs. I would like to ask you a question. If right now, if I sell pork, if I sell pork and I also sell chicken meat, I also sell beef, right? So, and now I have decided to go out in Saudi Arabia to supply in Saudi, or in places where pork is not acceptable. What do you think will happen to me if I want to be able to supply? Why? Because I don't meet their beliefs, and their needs. So it is very important for us to do supplier qualifications so that we can understand do these people meet our values? So I'm going to ask you another thing. You've ever heard of consumer exploitation? So if you hear that now we are having a business here, but we hear that the people who are supplying for us, they perform some type of consumer exploitation. Do you think that will be good to our image? So when we're doing supplier qualification, we'll also check that. Now the next thing we're going to study about the procedure. The procedure of supplier qualification. Because you're saying this is a process. This is a whole process that you're doing. So we're going to study about the procedure of supplier pre-qualification. What do you think we start first when doing supplier qualification?
supplier registration.
So we do supplier registration. Another thing?
Initial assessment.
Initial assessment. Another thing? Yes?
Supplier questionnaire.
Supplier questionnaire. We give questionnaires. We do also reference checks. So we're going in groups of 3. So tunataka tukae in groups of 3 very fast. In groups of 3. Well, that's true, but I nataka kuwachanganya. So Dominic, you're going to stand here first. I'm going to give you the group name. You're going to be the group leaders. Mayuma, you're going to also be a group leader. And Nelson, you're going to also be a group leader. So, Mayuma, you're going to stand with Mayuma here. And then, Ibrahim, you're going to stand with Mayuma there. Sarah, you're going to stand with Dominic. Amika, you're going to stand there with Dominic. Those are groups that I'm making. Fatima, you're going to be with Nelson over there. And also the rest are going to be with Nelson. Now, we're going to discuss, what you want to do, we're going to discuss supplier registration. So, and what happens during supplier registration. And we're also going to add with the initial assessment. So, then Dominic's group, we're going to talk about the supplier questionnaires. So, what is entailed in those questionnaires? And then Nelson's group, we're going to do the reference checks and how they are done briefly. Then I'm going to discuss. So please get into your seats and discuss. We are discussing. Dominus group, you are doing well. me. I'm just confirming. In 1 minute's time, I'm giving you 1 minute to conclude. Okay? I think all of you are done. So, now we are going to present, and I think we should start with group 1. Dominic, are you done? Okay, so we're going to start with group 1. Group 1, we talked about supplier registration and the initial assessment of the suppliers in SAP. So please tell us, what did you find out about supplier registration and the initial assessment of suppliers? Yes? No, well, you can just, when you're seated, you can present.
I'm Chuma representing Group 1.
Yes.
We discussed the supplier registration and initial assessment. So in supplier registration,
Yes.
these are, instead of a business just going into, or a suppliers going into business with a supplying supplier, they first submit a document that entails their business profile, the services and the goods they offer, their financial records, either in 201 fiscal year, depending on the company recommendations,
Yes.
their references and certification, because it must be a legal business. And then the initial assessment part, the procurement department, because each business has a procurement department, will go through the documents to see if they match the eligibility or their legal status. And then after they are done with that, basically in the initial assessment, the department will just see the legal matters, or if it matches, or if it comes through to what they have written. Thank you.
Okay. So in supplier registration, the first thing that happens in supplier registration, was he audible enough? Mmesikia vizuri? So the first thing that happens in supplier registration is, number 1, the suppliers will be asked to submit a business profile. Sawa? So in this business profile, they're going to tell us, nini wao they give. Sawa? So kama mimi biashara yangu I supply cereals. Sawa? I'm going to write in my profile, I supply cereals, which type of cereals. Sawa? And then we're also going to discuss about the certification. Do I have the right certifications? So if we think about certifications, what do we think about? In Kenya, maybe we get this from KEBS, right? To show that you do supply quality goods. And then maybe yes, the permits, the licenses, and then the most important one. The most important one that when you don't get it, you can't qualify the supplier. This one document. Business certification is very important, but we're going to talk about the tax compliance. So we're going here, they're going to tell us first, what do they do? Do they have the right certification? So is it a legal business? Because if you don't have the right certifications, you're not sure if you're legal. And then we're going to tell us also the inferences. Like, who have you worked with, Cindy, that have seen you to be credible, to be a credible supplier? After that now, we're going to do now the initial assessments. So since they've already given us, we now as the procurement unit, we are going to assess. So we're going to see the documents that they've given us, their business profile, their references, are they true? Do they match? Does it match with whatever they are really doing on the ground? A business may have good certifications, but whatever they are doing may not reflect. In here we can also check. We can also check with the references. And see if whatever they are telling us is very true. Yes, then now we're going to the second group. Dominic?
Yes. Group 2 will discuss about supply questionnaires findings.
Yes. So the questionnaires?
Questionnaires findings. And from these findings, a supplier should have the quality management system. Secondly, it adheres to the environmental policies. The third one we say the social responsibilities initiations. Sorry?
We're going to have the quality management?
Yes, quality management and environmental policies. The third one is social responsibilities. And the fourth one, which is the last, we say the supplier should be financially stable. Financially stable. Yes.
Yes. And then the other one?
The other thing we talked about the evaluation and scoring. Supplier. First point we say the supplier should be responsible to the questionnaires. Secondly, we say reference checks. Thirdly, we say site visit, if applicable. And those are our findings.
Okay. You went ahead and did also the other group's work, but we're going to see what they have to tell us. So we have the questionnaire. Now, after they've given us this, we have registered them and we have checked the assessments. Next, we're going to give them questionnaires. And in these questionnaires, we have several findings that we have to get. The first finding is their quality management. What do they do to ensure that the quality of their goods are always up to standard? And then also environmental policies. We also want to see, do they have environmental policies that are good for our own environment? So for environmental policies, where do you think, how do I check that they do this?
If they are certified by NEMA.
Yes, in Kenya, if they are certified by NEMA, we know that they do follow the policies in line. And then we also have the social responsibilities. So what are the social responsibilities? Another social responsibility in name. Okay, let me give you an example. Yes, public relations, Leo. Yes. So social responsibilities, I can give you an example. So like right now, Safaricom has decided to, in some places, in places where are drought prone, they decided to check water there. Sindio? Is this their responsibility to give water to that society? No. But they have taken upon themselves to be responsible for that society that works, that means that they thrive in. And then we have financial stability. We're going to see, are these people able to supply? Well, why do you think we want to see if these people are financially stable? Kwa nini walikuwa financially stable?
Because if you determine that they're financially stable, it will be easy for them to supply what they are intended to supply in that agreed period of time.
Yes, it will be easier for them to supply for us whatever they intended to supply. But now, if they're not financially, if they are financially unstable, there's high chances that when we need it, they won't supply. And then now, okay, the last group, tell us about your findings. The reference checks.
Okay, we have discussed about the references provided to the supplier. So here we have discussed about the certification, certificates, the relevant certificates must be checked. Another issue is about, it's all about the certification.
So in reference checks, kumbuka hapa tumwambia kwamba they will give us references, ndio? We're going to check with these references. Kama the certifications that we've been given are the same ones that they have, ndio? We're going to check through the references how their work was. Ni sawa? Kama vile wewe ukiandika CV unapeana references ili wapigiwe simu wa confirm, this is the exact same thing we're going to do. So thank you very much. This is going to be the end of our lesson. But before we end this lesson, I would like to first let's begin to think. We are concluding first. We're going to talk about what did we study about today. To be very fast, what have we studied today? Yes? Yes, simple.
Yes, the qualification of suppliers.
We've talked about the qualification of suppliers. Another thing we studied?
The process in qualification of suppliers.
Yes, the process in pre-qualification of suppliers. So, this basket, I'm going to give you a basket here, and this basket needs you to refill it. So, you're going to put for me words. You're going to put for me some questions that you feel were not well addressed in this lesson, or even in other lessons, and then I'm going to respond to them. You can just write it in a small piece of paper. Si lazima uandike kwa karatasi kubwa. Yes. Yes, any question that you have about this class? Or any comment about the class? Thank you. Okay? Okay, give me the attendance sheets. What are the attendance sheets? Yes, thank you very much. And now I'm going to respond to some of the questions. Someone asked, is it necessary to be qualified as small business? So I think, personally, I think it is very necessary because the small businesses, we work closely. Like we have a close relationship with our customers. What happens if they come and we have stockouts because of suppliers? But this will also be your assignment. We're going to ask, is it necessary? The assignment? Is it necessary to pre-qualify suppliers in a small business. And I will be preparing this assignment at the start of our next class. Have a good day. It was wonderful learning with you. Bye.